Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to continue with our GRW. So make sure you have your correct book. This is the 5th lesson, alright? So we have to have the correct one. E1 is the first page, alright? So it's the 5th lesson, so we'll have to go to the 5th one, alright? So E5. Now, last time we learned about the indefinite articles a or a and also an for vowels. Today we're going to learn the differences between indefinite articles, a or a and an, with the definite article the. Alright? So indefinite articles and definite articles. Now, first I'd like you to take a look at page 18, okay? Page 18, where we can find again what we've learned last time, a or a and an, okay? So I'll bring you here to this part of the whiteboard, which is similar to our book, alright? So before we look at the whiteboard, let's try to read what we can find in our book, alright? So page 18, let's read together. So articles a, an, and the. Articles a, an, and the, okay? So let's read the passages together. 1, 2, 3. A is an indefinite article, not a specific object, one thing in general, with consonants. So what are consonants? Consonants are letters that are not vowels. So B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So no A, E, I, O, U. These are consonants, okay? So we have examples. She has a dog and I work in a school. Now let's move on to the next one. An. 1, 2, 3. An is an indefinite article, not a specific object or one thing in general, with vowels. A, E, I, O, U. So vowels are A, E, I, O, U. An example they've given us is, can I have an apple? And she is an English teacher. Alright? Now on to the next page, page 19. Page 19, where we have the definite article the. The definite article the. 1, 2, 3. The is a definite article, a specific object that both the person speaking and listener knows, alright, or know. The example they've given us is, the car over there is fast, or the boy is very happy. So we have a reference. We know which car we're talking about, and we know which boy we're talking about. Now, if you speak of it for the first time, you use a or an. The next time that you have to repeat the object, you will use the. So for the first time, you will say, I live in a house. And then you will mention that house again. So the house is quite old and has 4 bedrooms. Here we use a in the first time we say house. The is used in the second time we say the object house. Similarly, let's change it up and use the word restaurant, okay? The first time we will use a, the second time we will use the. I eat in a restaurant. The restaurant is very good. So the first time we say a restaurant, I eat in a restaurant. And the second time we will say the. The restaurant is very good. In these cases, they are both talking about the same restaurant. In the top one, they are both talking about the same house. So when you mention it for the first time, you use a or an. A for consonants, and an for words with vowels in the beginning. And the for the second time you've mentioned them. Now, can I please bring your attention to the whiteboard? Now, I'll try to explain it in a better way. All right, so here we have a, right? So a. Now, when do we use a? A is to be used with words that begin or start with consonants. Now, it's important to know that a is an indefinite article. indefinite article. All right, so this word might be tricky to some of you. All right, let me just make sure that you can see how it's spelled. Indefinite article. Now, articles are a, an, and the. These are articles. But what does indefinite mean? Indefinite. Now, indefinite means not specific, or not just one thing, or not that one thing that is unique or special. So indefinite means a big abstract thought, or a thing that everyone knows, but it could be more than one, okay? So indefinite. For example, she has a dog. Okay, well, she has a dog. Now this dog, right? We don't know what type of dog it is, how the dog looks like. But if we say, oh, she has that dog, right? Then we know what type of dog we are talking about. Now, a is an indefinite article, not specific, more of a general sense, a bigger picture, okay? So we use it with consonants, words that begin or start with consonants. So here, dog is a consonant. It's not A, E, I, O, U. So consonants mean not A, E, I, O, and U, okay? Consonants mean not A, E, I, O, U. Now the second example is, I work in a school. I work in a school. Again, a means only one. A means only one. But here, school is a consonant, not A, E, I, O, U. Now, Mr. Joe, why do I use a and not the? Well, this school, do we know what school this is? Do we know where? Have we talked about this school before? No, right? So we don't know what school this is. We don't know where this school is. We don't know which school. We don't know who is in this school. So we've never talked about this school before. And also, it is the first time we've mentioned this school. So we need to use the indefinite article. For consonants, it is a. Again, indefinite articles are not a specific object, right? We don't know for sure which one we're talking about. So she has a dog. That means maybe we haven't seen the dog yet, and we didn't know she has a dog. So someone tells us for the first time, oh, she has a dog, and we don't know what the dog looks like, right? I work in a school. Okay? We didn't know that you didn't know that I worked in a school, or I work in a school. And this is my first time telling you that I work in a school, and you don't know what school that is. Now, similarly to a, we have an, which is also an indefinite article, also not specific, okay? Not specific to one object, okay, or one thing. It is more of a one thing in general, the general sense. Now, an is to be used before words starting with vowels. Now, what are vowels? If consonants are not vowels, meaning not A, E, I, O, U, then vowels means A, E, I, O, U. Vowels mean A, E, I, O, U. Alright, so we have to spot for the words that either begin in consonants, not A, E, I, O, U, or vowels, A, E, I, O, U. The examples we've been given were, can I have an apple? Can I have an apple? Now, we know that we use an because we have a vowel word here. Apple, A, P-P-L-E, begins with the letter A. So, when we have a vowel in the beginning of the word, we have to use the indefinite, okay? The indefinite article an. Now, you might ask me, okay, I understand, because we have apple here, then we have to use an. How come I cannot use the? Can I eat the apple? Can I eat the apple? Well, if we say, can I eat the apple, it's that one apple that I can see, that I want to eat, or that I want to have. If I have many apples, I have 10 apples, and I say, can I have an apple? That means you want to eat one apple, right? Only one apple out of all the 10. But if you have 10 apples, and you can see the green apple, and you have 9 red apples, and you say, can I have the apple? and you point at the green one, then we know you're talking about the green apple, the green apple. But in this case, an apple means any apple, right? Any apple that you can get, you can have it. Can I have an apple? Can I have an apple? Okay? Now here we have, she is an English teacher. She is an English teacher. Now we know that we use the indefinite article an because we have the A-E-I-O-U in this word in the beginning. So here we have the letter E, and the letter E is a vowel. So we use the indefinite article an instead of a. We cannot say she is a English teacher. We have to say she is an English teacher. Now, why do we use an and not the English teacher or the English teacher? Why? That's because we're only mentioning this for the first time. She is an English teacher. Also, it's not specific. An English teacher. Okay, she can be an English teacher for this center. She can be an English teacher for another school. She can be an English teacher for online classes. So we don't really know where she works. We only know what she does. An English teacher. Now, if you want to be very specific, oh yes, I go to that same school and she is the English teacher. That means she is that English teacher of that school. She is the English teacher. In this case, it's not specific, so we will use an. She is an English teacher. Alright? And then of course we have the definite article. Now, indefinite, a and an is the opposite of the definite article, the or the. Now, we can say the or the depending again on the words that follow. Alright? So, the definite article, which is specific to both speakers and listener. Okay? It is specific to both the speaker and the listener, or the speaker and listeners, or even more speakers and more listeners, right? So it is unique. It is one of a kind. That means not all the other things, but only one of them. A good example here is we have the car over there is fast. Now if we say a car is fast, if we remove this, if we say a car is fast, that means any car is fast. A car is fast. But here we put the car. The car, and you can still remove over there. The car is fast. That means we're talking about that one car that is fast. Very unique. Unique means one of a kind. The car is fast. One car. We are referring to one car. Now, another example is the boy is very happy. The boy is very happy. Now here, we put the boy instead of a boy. If we say a boy is very happy, it's just one boy and we don't know who it is, right? We are not referring a boy to anybody. So it could be the boy on my right, the boy in front of me, or the boy on my left. So who is that boy? Well, then you have to refer it. You'll say, oh, the boy over there is happy or is very happy. It has a different meaning from a. Alright? So the car over there is fast. The boy over there is very happy. So these are definite articles, right? The. And they are used when both speaker and listener know what they're talking about. Now, another good example is the sun is shining bright in the sky. Alright, so here we have two definite articles, the. The sun is shining bright in the sky. Now you may ask me, Mr. Joe, before you said we only use the for unique things, right? When we're talking about specific things. Yes, exactly. The sun. How many suns do we have? Just one sun, right? And that sun is the same sun that the speaker and the listener is talking about. So it's the same object. the sun. It's the same object we're talking about. Is shining bright in the sky. Now this sky, this place, the sky, is the same sky that the speaker and the listener are talking about. It's the same sky. Alright? So, the sun, the sky. The sun, the sky. Now again, let me bring you back to the examples, okay? The car over there is fast. Now, that car that they're talking about is the same car that the speaker is saying and the listener is looking at. The car. If I change a car is fast, let me remove over there, okay? So now we have the car is fast. Do we know which car we're talking about with the? Yes, we do, because the speaker and the listener are talking about the same car. Now, if we change it to maybe I use a blue pen, right? If I say a car is fast. A car is fast. Now, are we talking about the same car? No, right? So, makes a generic word, okay? So, a car is fast. Any car, as long as it's a car, it is fast, okay? So this is a difference between the definite and indefinite articles. Now, we also have to use definite and indefinite articles in different situations. The example that I gave you was, when you mention or talk about something for the first time, you use a or an. For the first time, you use a or an. Alright, you use a or an for the first time. But if you mention it again, the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, you use the. If you mention or talk about it again, use the. A good example that we've been given in the book is, I live in a house. I live in a house. Now, this is the first time we've talked about the house. On the second time, we will use the. The house is old. Now, why do we say it like this? Because the first time we say it, I live in a house, okay, I live in a house, the speaker, I, and the listener, you, don't know, okay, we don't know which house we're talking about. So I will introduce to you, oh, I live in a house. This is the introduction. I live in a house. And then, when we use the for house the second time, we know that this house over here is talking about the house that I've mentioned already. So the listener, you, and the speaker, me, know that the house is the house that I live in. Alright, so the second time we will say the house is old. Similarly, over here we have I eat in a restaurant. So I eat in a restaurant the first time I'm mentioning it, or I talk about it. The second time I will say, the restaurant is good. So I eat in a restaurant. You are introducing the place where where you ate, right? Or where I ate. I eat in a restaurant. Now, we use the for the second time because the listener, you, and the speaker, me, know that the restaurant we're referring to is the restaurant where I ate or where I eat at. Okay? So if you say, I eat in a restaurant is good. If you put a in the second time, that means any restaurant is good. You don't exactly know which restaurant we're talking about. Is it the restaurant that I ate at, or the other restaurant next to the restaurant I ate at? So I eat in a restaurant. The restaurant is good. So this the restaurant is talking about the restaurant that I eat in. Alright? The house is old. This house we're talking about is the house that I live in. If you say, I live in a house is old. So which house are you talking about? The house next to my house or my house? You wouldn't know. That's why we have to put the, which is the definite article, referring back to what we know already. Alright? So this is talking about just one thing. One thing that is the same for the speaker and also the listener. Alright? Now, it's quite a lot to wrap your head around, so I'll bring your attention to the TV screen where we can take a look at the differences, okay? Another good point or another good example of how to use a or an, okay? Alright, so here we have a, an, and the, okay? So we have three different charts. So red is a, yellow is an, and the green one is the. Now, just to make sure, alright? So a is used in front of singular. So singular means only one, okay? So a means only one, and countable nouns such as a person, an animal, or a thing, or even a place. And they are not specific. Not specific means they are general terms, okay? Not the same thing that you are talking about or I am talking about, alright? Now, we don't use a for uncountable nouns, so nouns we cannot count, or plural nouns, alright? So, we only use a for consonant sounds, so not A, E, I, O, U. For example, B, C, D, F, G, etc. Now, the examples of when we can use a are a cat, a house, a child, a table. Now, if we say a cat, now are we all talking about the same cat? No, right? Oh, I saw a cat yesterday. And then your friend said, yes, I saw a cat too. So, are you guys talking about the same cat? No, right? You are both talking about one different cat. Okay, one different cat, okay? Sorry, you're both talking about two different cats. One that you saw on your own, and one that your friend saw. So we have two different cats here, but they're both in different times. So I saw a cat yesterday, and you saw a cat yesterday too. But they are not the same cat. Another example will be, I live in a house, and you live in a house too. Now, do we live in the same houses? No, right? So the house that I live in is different from the house that you live in. So I live in a house and you live in a house too. Okay? So these are different, okay, from what we say. They are not the same exact thing, not specific. Now, similarly to a, we have an, okay? And an is used in front of singular countable nouns, which are not specific. Again, the same thing as a. Not specific meaning they are just generic or in general terms, okay? And we don't use an before uncountable or plural nouns because plural means more than one. And a or an are only for singular, only one. Now, when do we use an? We use an if the noun or the word afterward starts with a vowel. So A, E, I, O, U, right, comes before the word. So an apple, an hour, an ant, an old man, okay? So, I ate an apple yesterday and I am eating an apple today. So, we talked about one apple yesterday and one apple today. I ate an apple yesterday and I eat an apple today. So is that the same apple that we're talking about? No, right? These are two different apples, but I ate one yesterday and I ate one today. So an apple is a broader and generic term, not just one specific apple, but any type of apple, right? It's the same as okay, an uncle or an egg. Okay, for example, oh, my mom has a brother, so to me he is my uncle. He is an uncle. And then your friend will say, oh yes, my father has a brother too, so he is an uncle to me. So do you have the same uncles? No, right? They're not the same uncles. They're two different uncles. You have an uncle and your friend has an uncle too, but they are not the same uncles. Alright? Now let's go on to the definite article. The definite article, the. We use the in front of all the nouns. So it doesn't matter if it's consonants or vowels, A, E, I, O, U. And also we can use them for singular, means only one, and plural, more than one, okay? And this is used to describe someone or something specific, one of a kind, or unique, also one of a kind, okay? So specific means we know exactly what we're talking about. The writer or the speaker and the reader or the listener knows exactly what we're talking or writing about. So an example is the moon. The moon. How many moons do we have? We have only one. So this is specific or unique. This moon is only one. So when we talk about the moon, we cannot say a moon. Oh, I can see a moon in the sky, right? You can say that, but it's typically wrong because the moon is a unique or specific thing, right? So the moon in the sky, all right? What's the weather like today? You cannot say what's a weather like today because the weather is a specific or a unique thing. The weather is very good today, very sunny, because the sun is up in the sky. Again, the speaker and the listener both know what they're talking about. The same sun up in the same sky. All right? Okay, very good. So now that we've talked about the differences, okay, let's bring us back to our workbook, page 20, all right? Now again, just to remind you, the is used the second time and an or a is used the first time we mention something. So on page 20, we will do a revision on just the articles a or an, okay? So a for consonants and an for vowels, a, e, I, o, u. Now we have an example, The example is, I like eating blank orange. Now we know that orange begins with the letter O, which is a vowel. Remember, vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So here we have an O. That means we have to use an orange. I like eating an orange. Now let's go on to number one. Question number one. Whenever you see the three dots means the rest of the sentence that I have no space to write, okay? So just refer to your book if you want to read the whole sentence. But the important thing here are the nouns or the words before the supposed a or an, the indefinite articles, okay? So number one, my father has blank tie. My father has blank tie. Now what should I use for tie? Alright, if you don't know, we can analyze the word T-I-E. So tie begins with the letter T. Now the letter T, is it a vowel, A-E-I-O-U, or is it a consonant? Very good, it's a consonant. And for consonants, we will use a, okay? So my father has a tie. Remember, we only use an for vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Good job, everyone. Let's move on to the second one, egg, okay? I have blank egg for Easter. Again, which should we use for egg? If you don't know, let's take a closer look at the word egg. E-G-G. Egg is spelled E-G-G with the letter E in the beginning. Now, for the letter E, is it a vowel, A-E-I-O-U, or is it a consonant? That's right, it's a vowel. So when we have vowels and we want to talk about this one thing, then we will use an. So I have an egg for Easter. I have an egg for Easter. Now let's move on to question number 3. May I have blank cup of coffee? Sorry, may I have blank cup of tea, not coffee, it's tea, all right? So here we have cup. Cup is the first word after the article. Now let's take a look at cup. C-U-P. It starts with C. Now is C a consonant or a vowel? Is it a consonant or a vowel? That's right, it should be a consonant. Very good, so it should be a. Can I or may I have a cup of tea? Not an cup, okay? Because here we have a consonant. Now let's go to question number 4, the last one we'll do together. Then I'll let you do questions number 5 to 8 by yourselves, okay? So question number 4. My father buys me a or an idiom book. A or an idiom book. Okay, let's take a look at idiom, which is the word after the article, right? So idiom, letter I. Now, is idiom with the letter I a vowel, A-E-I-O-U, or a consonant? That's right, it is a vowel, so we have letter I here, A-E-I-O-U, so it should be an, okay, an idiom book. My father buys me an idiom book. Now, please go on and finish questions number 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Before you start doing them, let me read out the sentence out loud for you first. Number 5. There is blank eagle in the sky. There is blank eagle in the sky. There is blank eagle in the sky. Question number 6. I have blank ruler and blank pencil. I have blank ruler and blank pencil. I have blank ruler and blank pencil. Number 7. May I have blank tissue paper? May I have blank tissue paper? May I have blank tissue paper? Number 8. There is blank ox in the farm. There is blank ox in the farm. There is blank ox in the farm. Alright, so let's check our answers together. Alright, so for question number 5, there is blank eagle in the sky. So here we have eagle, E-A-G-L-E. And eagle is spelt with an E in the beginning, which is a vowel. So we have to put an eagle, an eagle. Now, for question number 6, we have 2 answers here, right? I mean, 2 questions, basically, so write down 2 answers. Number 6, I have blank ruler and blank pencil. Now, ruler starts with a consonant, the letter R, and pencil starts with a consonant, the letter P. In this case, we don't need an, instead we will use a. I have a ruler and a pencil. I have a ruler and a pencil. Now let's go to question number 7. May I have blank tissue paper? Again, here we have tissue. Tissue starts with the letter T, which is a consonant. So we will say a tissue paper. Okay? A tissue paper. Alright? Number 8, there is blank ox in the farm. Now, ox is a kind of animal, right? It looks like a bull. So, ox over here starts with the letter O, okay, letter O. So, O is a vowel, A-E-I-O in U. So, this should be an. An. There is an ox in the farm. Now, let me write down one more thing so we can do recap on what we've just learned so far, which is the definite article the. Okay? So take a look at these words, okay? Question number 5 and question number 8, okay? So question number 5 and question number 8. Question number 5 is, there is an eagle in the sky. Now we use the definite article the for sky, right? And we've already talked about that in the introduction to the class. Now we use the for sky because it's very specific. We know what we're talking about when we say sky. right? We all have the same sky, just one sky above us. Now, for number 8, there is an ox in the farm. Now, here we use the for farm. That means this farm is just this one farm that we know there is an ox, okay? So which ox is it? Is it the big ox, the small ox, the fat ox, the thin ox? We don't know for sure, but we know that there is one ox in that one specific farm that the writer and the reader, or the speaker and the listener, knows of, right? So the farm and the sky. All right? All right, so make sure you have the correct answers. Number 1 is 2 is an, 3 4 an, 5 an, 6 both are 7 is and 8 is an. All right? Okay, good job everyone. Now let's move on to page 21. All right, we have a 9 questions, okay? Page 21. You have the pictures to kind of help you out, I guess, with how to read the nouns if you don't know how to read them, okay? So you can refer to your book and also look at the whiteboard at the same time. So page 21, we have to put an, and the. So here it becomes tricky because we need to put the as well, not just or an, okay? So how do we do that? Simple. We have to take a look at the noun that follows after the blank lines or the supposed articles, okay? Let's take a look at the example. The sun in the sky. The sun is in the sky. Here we have the sun is in the sky. Now, even if I am in Hong Kong and maybe you are in Japan and I tell you, oh, the sun is in the sky, do you know which sun I'm talking about? Of course, because the sun is very unique. It is just one sun. And the sky, we only have one sky above us, right? It circles all around our planet. So that is just one same sky. So that's why we use the instead of a. We cannot say a sun in a sky, right? It's the sun in the sky. The sun in the sky. This is a unique noun, right? We all know the sun and we only have one sun. We all know the sky and we only have one sky. Now let's go and do question number 1. I got blank new school bag. Have I mentioned this school bag before, or is this the first time? Very good. This is the first time I'm talking about this new school bag, right? Because it's new. So should I use a, an, or the for the first time? Right, we will use a or an for the first time. Now we have to narrow down our answers. Should I use a or an for the word new? Very good. Letter N is a consonant, so I need to use the word a, okay? So I got a new school book, or a new school bag, sorry. I got a new school bag, all right? Now let's go to question number 2 with 3 dots, okay? Question number 2, sorry. Question number 2. Now the 3 dots mean my father is, okay? So my father is. This is what the 3 dots mean. So my father is blank fireman. Now have I mentioned fireman before? Or is this the first time? Very good. This is the first time I've mentioned fireman. So should I say a, an, or the? That's right. For the first time we mention something, it should be a or an. Now fireman is not one unique thing. There is more than one fireman in the world. So we cannot use the, and also we've only mentioned this the first time, so we can't use the as well. Now we only can use a or an. Okay? Which one should we use? Letter F, fireman. Very good. We have to use a as well. So my father is a fireman. Again, we cannot use the because it's only mentioned the first time. But Mr. Joe, how come the example, the sun is in the sky? Right? We only mentioned the sun once and the sky once. How come we use the? Well, that's because we only have one sun and we only have one sky. Alright? So these words are unique and specific. But these words, new school bag and fireman, or I should say these nouns, are not specific. I got a new school bag. Okay, well, do I know what kind of new school bag did you get? No, right? Or you can say, oh, I also got a new school bag. So your friend also had a new school bag. Do you have the same new school bag? No, right? So you have to use a. And how many firemen do we have in the world? We have more than one, of course. So your father cannot be the fireman of the world, right? It should be he is a fireman. Out of all the firemen, he is also one. He is a fireman as well. All right, let's go into question number 3. I need blank glove because it is cold today. All right, so we have one glove showing, okay? I need blank glove because it is cold today. What do you think? That's right, it should be a glove. I need a glove. So only one, right? So I need a glove. I need a glove because it is cold today. Okay? Now, if you're only mentioning the first time and you have 2 gloves, then you say, I need a pair of gloves because it is cold today. A pair of gloves. But if you've mentioned these gloves already, for example, can you see a pair of gloves on the table? Well, I need the gloves right now. Okay? You see, the second time we use the first time we use a, or a pair of. Alright? Alright, now, here's where it gets interesting. Let's do question number 4 together. So again, the 3 dots mean the words that I didn't write down, which is I found. So I found a, an, or the rubber on the, an, or a floor. So what should I put for rubber? Is it the first time we're talking about the rubber? Is it the first time we're talking about the rubber? Yes, it is the first time. So for the first time, we can use a or an. Some cases we can also use the. So let's take a look. Is this rubber a unique rubber? Just the one rubber in all of the world? No, right? So lots of students have different types of rubbers. So we cannot use the. Alright, because it's not the number one rubber all around, only one rubber, and it's not the second time we've mentioned it, just the first time. So should it be a or an? Let's take a look at the letters. R-U-B-B-E-R. It starts with letter R, which is a consonant. And for consonants, we use a or an. That's right, we use a for consonants. So it should be, I found a rubber. Now, on a floor, on an floor, or on the floor. Very good. It should be the floor because the speaker is talking about a specific floor. Which floor? Oh, the floor. Maybe the floor of his classroom, right? If you tell this to a person, oh, I found some money on the floor, then they know that it was on that floor, right? The floor. But if you say on a floor, then it's not generic. It's not specific. It's more generic, right? You don't know exactly where. So it should be the floor. The floor. Okay? What about number 5? My sister loves her new dress. My sister loves her new dress. And then we continue to say, blank dress is pink. Let's take a moment to discuss this sentence, or these 2 sentences. The first sentence says, my sister loves her new dress. Okay? And then the second sentence with the question says, blank dress is in pink. Again, we have dress here. Now, this dress is the same as the new dress that they were talking about in the first sentence. Now, if this is the first time we talked about new dress. And this is the second time we talk about the new dress. Then, what should we use? So you can change this to, my sister loves a new dress she bought. Blank dress she bought is pink. Very good, it should be the. And in this case, it's a capital T because we have a full stop over here. So the dress is pink because we've mentioned the new dress in the first sentence, right? My sister bought a new dress. The dress is pink. The dress is the same dress we're talking about in the first sentence. So in this case, it's more of because we've mentioned it once, and on the second time we need to use the definite article the. Or also because in the second part, we know that the dress we're talking about is the dress I've introduced to you already before. So you know what dress I'm talking about, that one specific dress. All right? Okay, good. Now can you please do questions number 6, 7, 8, and 9 by yourselves? All right, so I will read out the questions out loud and you try to write down by yourself, okay? So, number 6, there is blank boy. Blank boy is jumping. There is blank boy. Blank boy is jumping. Here we can see that the boy we're talking about is the same boy. So here we have the first time, and here we have the second time. Now what should I put for the first time and the second time? Okay, now let's go to question number 7. I have blank umbrella. Blank umbrella is very big. So again, we have umbrella in the first sentence and umbrella in the second sentence. We know that the umbrella in the second sentence is the same umbrella as the first sentence. So the first sentence umbrella is the first time we mention it, and the second sentence's umbrella is the second time we mention it. What do we put in the first and also the second? And also, we have to watch out if it's a consonant or a vowel for the first time we've mentioned. So that's a hint for you. Now let's go to question number 8. I want to be blank engineer. Now, do you want to be blank engineer? Engineer, how many engineers do we have in the world? Is it only one or a lot? Are we talking about one specific engineer? That one person? Or you want to be an engineer in general, right? So which one? And also, mind you, pay attention to how we spell the word engineer. Is it a consonant or a vowel? Right? And is it the first time we've mentioned engineer? Question number 9. Blank moon is in blank sky. Now, here it is where it gets tricky. Moon and sky. How many moons do we have and how many skies do we have? So, are they specific, unique, the one thing that we all know? Or is it generic? It can be any type. Alright, so I hope that you've written down the answers, okay, as I've explained. If not, then that's okay, we can check the answers together. So for question number 6, blank boy, okay, so blank boy. There is blank boy. Blank boy is jumping. So we have the same boy mentioned in the first sentence and in the second sentence. Now in the first sentence, is this boy specific or generic? Do we know this is a unique boy or it's just another boy? Right, just another boy, right? And here we can take a look at how we spell boy. B-O-Y. It's the first time we've mentioned him and he's only a generic boy. So it should be a. Alright, the indefinite article a. And then we have the second sentence. There is a boy, blank boy is jumping. Now, the word boy here is referring back to the boy mentioned in the first sentence. That means we're mentioning him for a second time. So on the second time, we have to use, that's right, we have to use the, T-H-E. The boy is jumping. The boy is jumping. Alright? So there is a boy. The boy is jumping. Alright, now let's move on to question number 7. Question number 7. I have blank umbrella. Blank umbrella is very big. So I have blank umbrella. Blank umbrella is very big. Now in these two sentences for question number 7, they both have the word umbrella, and so it is mentioned twice. In the first sentence, it is only mentioned one time, or once. In that case, we can use a or an. But this umbrella is only introduced to us now, so it's not a unique umbrella, meaning we have not talked about this umbrella before, so we don't know this umbrella. Here we have the letter U, and the letter U is a vowel. In that case, we can use an. I have an umbrella, not a umbrella, and not the umbrella. Not a umbrella because we have U, which is a vowel, and not the because we've only talked about this umbrella once. This is the first time, and also we don't know this umbrella yet. Now in the second sentence, we have umbrella after the line, meaning this here is another mention of the same umbrella we've talked about in the first sentence. So when we've talked about the same thing twice, then it will become the or the umbrella. So your answer for question number 7 should be, I have an umbrella. The umbrella or the umbrella is very big. Okay? Good. Now let's go to question number 8. I want to be blank engineer. Now, engineer is a type of job, but we have so many engineer in the world. So, it is not specific, and it is not unique. And we've not mentioned it again before. So, this is the first time we're talking about it. So, we can use a or an. But in this case, should we use a or an? Let's take a look at how we spell engineer. It starts with the letter E, and the letter E is a vowel. So we have to write an. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an engineer. Now, for the last one, blank moon is in blank sky at night. Blank moon is in blank sky at night. So here we have moon and sky. Now, is the moon specific? Is it a unique thing? Is it one thing? Yes, it is one thing. But is it more than one around the world, or is there only one moon? There is only one moon, so it's a very specific one. And the speaker and the listener know that we're talking about the same moon. In that case, if it's the same, then we have to use the. A specific one. The moon is in a sky at night, and sky at night, or the sky at night. Very good, the sky at night. This is the same to the moon, okay? So the sky is up above us, and we only have one big sky. And so the speaker and the listener know that the sky is the same one that they're talking about and listening about. So the sky. It's a unique and specific thing. Okay? Alright, so please check your answers. For question number 1, it's a new school bag. Question number 2, a fireman. Question number 3, a glove. Question number 4, a rubber and the floor. Question number 5, the dress. Question number 6, a boy and then the boy. Question number 7, an umbrella and then the umbrella. Question number 8, it should be an engineer. And question number 9, the moon is in the sky. The moon is in the sky. Alright? Alright, so just to do a little bit more revision, just to help you remember, we have, if you look here, my sister bought a new dress. So it's the first time we talk about the new dress. In the second time, the dress is pink. We know that this dress here in the second sentence is the same dress in the first sentence. So a new dress will become the dress, okay? Because we've mentioned it another time. Similar to there is a boy. So this is the first time we talk about the boy, and he's a generic boy, right? We don't know him yet. Now, we know that we're talking about this same boy, and he is jumping. So, this boy is specific. So we will say the boy is jumping. Alright? Alright, good. So now let's move on to page 22, where we learn about what a kite is, okay? A kite. So page 22, let's fly a kite. Let's fly a kite. Alright? So here we have to read the passage and then circle the correct answers for questions 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so let's read it together. You can take a look at the whiteboard or you can take a look at your book as well. Alright, so the title of the story is Let's Fly a Kite. Let's fly a kite. Now, if you don't know what a kite is, you can take a look at the picture over here. Now, this is a kite, okay? This is a kite. Now, let's read it together. Alright, so we have the passage here. You can use your book to read, or you can also take a look at the whiteboard and read along. So any is okay. Alright? Alright, 1, 2, 3. It is a very windy day. Let's fly a kite. We can go to the park. I like to fly my kite. It is fun to be outside. Can you see the kite in the sky? Now, if you take a look closely at this passage, you can find lots of indefinite and definite articles. So, here we have a. It is a windy day. Let's fly a kite. We can go to the park. I like to fly my kite. It is fun to be outside. Can you see the kite in the sky? Okay? So, now this story is imagining that we are with this person. We are going with whoever is talking to us, right? So this person tells us, today it is a very windy day. A very windy day. That means, is it a specific day? Just this day is a windy day? No, right? So a windy day is any windy day. Maybe today is a windy day, and then next week will be another windy day. So it could be one of those days, right? So if this is a story. So a windy day, just one windy day out of all the other windy days of the year. Let's fly a kite. Is it a specific kite? No, right? So this kite is mentioned the first time right now. So after this sentence, maybe it will be mentioned again. But before this sentence, there is no mentioning of this kite. So we will use a kite. So is it a specific kite? No, at least not yet, because we're using the generic sense. Let's fly a kite. It can be any type of kite. Now, we can go to the park. In this sense, why are we using the and not a park? Well, assuming that we know who is talking to us, they are talking about the park that we both know, right? So the park that we always go to, we can go to the park, all right? So the listener and the speaker know which park we're talking about. Now it changes to, I like to fly my kite. So maybe this kite we talked about in the first sentence, or the second sentence I should say, the second line, or the first line, second sentence, could be talking about this person's kite. I like to fly my kite. It is fun to be outside. Can you see the kite in the sky? Now this the kite could mean the person's kite, okay? Because we've mentioned kite 3 times already. 1, 2, and 3. So this the kite could mean the kite that she wants or he wants to fly together with you, or his or her kite that she owns. Alright? So this is how we use the indefinite and definite article. Very similar to the practices that we've just done so far. Alright, so let's try to circle the correct answers for question number 1, 2, and 3. So for question number 1, it is a very sunny, cold, or windy day. What's the answer? Is it a sunny, cold, windy day? You can find the answer in the top part of the passage, the very first line. Very good, everyone. It is a very windy day. So can you circle the word windy? Good job. Now, try to do questions number 2 and 3 by yourselves. These are very simple and easy questions. All you have to do is circle the correct answers. You can find the answers from the passage. Now, I'll give you around 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, while I give you the time to do that, I'll read out the questions. If you can't read them, you can try to listen carefully. Number 2. Let's fly a bird, kite, car. Let's fly a bird, kite, car. Question number 3. It is fun to be home, sky, outside. It is fun to be home, sky, outside. It is fun to be home, sky, outside. Alright, so let's check the answers together. For number 2, let's fly a bird, kite, or car. Now, we have to try to take a look at the keywords. Let's fly and Can we find the word let's? L-E-T apostrophe S. Yes, over here. L-E-T apostrophe S. Now, let's fly a. Let's fly a. Wow, it's the same structure. Now, what word do we have here? Let's fly a kite. That's right. So the answer should be kite. Let's fly a kite. Now let's go to question number 3. It is fun to be home, sky, or outside. Now, we have to do the same thing again, where we take a look at the whole sentence. It is fun to be. Can we check out in the passage where it has it is fun to be? That's right, over here. It is fun to be. Now, for it is fun to be, what is the place that they're talking about at the end of the sentence? That's right, outside. So the answer should be, it is fun to be outside. Okay? It is fun to be outside. So your answer should be, it is fun to be outside. Easy, right? Very good. Again, here we can see the different usage of the indefinite article, mentioned once, and the, for when things we mention twice, or when we have a specific place or a specific noun in mind. Alright? Very easy, right? Now, let's turn our books to page 23. Page 23. Now is your chance to draw and color your favorite type of kite. So, you can pick up your color pencils now and color whatever you want in the kite. You can put a heart, you can put a bow, or you can put your name, or even a painting of a butterfly, or anything you like. Now, let's try to do mine together. So, on my kite, I would like to have a red butterfly on top. So I will draw a red butterfly. Wow, so pretty. Now, beneath the red butterfly is an apple tree. So I will draw an apple tree. The tree will be here with the leaves and some apples on the branches. And then I will draw the apples. 1 apple, 2 apple, and 3 apples. Now, aside from the butterfly and the apple tree, I would also like to have some hearts on my kite. But this time, I want some blue hearts. Wow! I'll put 3 blue hearts on my kite. And then, I would like some black sparks and stars. So I will draw some black stars. And also some black sparks. Wow, so shiny. Now here, we've colored and draw our kite. Now, something is missing. Oh, that's right. I also want to color the bows around my kite. Let's color them red and blue. Red for the ones around the kite, and blue for the ones on its strings. Wow, how nice design, right? It's such a beautiful design. How nice of us to be doing this together. Now, if you want to make a background where you can see the sky with the clouds up above, you can maybe draw your kite flying. And then you can color in the blue sky. And you can also draw some birds flying about near the kite. Bird 1, bird 2, bird 3. All right. So now that we've finished writing so now that we've finished making our own kites, you may now start to do your own at home. So, before we start doing that and before we end the class, let's do a little bit of a revision, okay? So, we have a and an and also the. Now, a is to be used with consonants, which means not A, E, I, O, U. Alright? And also, they are generic, not specific, and also when they are talked about for the first time. Like a boy. Now, for the second one is an, which is before a vowel. So, A, E, I, O, and U. Again, like a, it is also generic or not specific. And we will also use it for the first time that we talk about something. Like an apple. Alright? And then for the, we will use it with both vowels and both consonants. And they are very specific or unique. And we will use it 2 or more times. All right? And so these are the differences between the indefinite articles and the definite article. All right, everyone. So I hope that you can finish drawing on your kite and coloring it down. And also remember the differences between a, an, and the, because we will talk about them again in the next lesson. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Goodbye.